Violence is absolutely never the answer, and to single out one individual because you have an issue with a company, a corporation, or an entire industry that's been fraught for decades.
And I would add, don't vote for Republicans because they want to overthrow Obamacare.
That's exactly
no interest at all in this.
Respectfully, we complain about our health care right now. We are living under Obamacare. Obamacare ain't perfect either. It actually created monopolies in the health care system.
Majority groups, and so
This
they
is
don't
not
suffer.
me saying that every person at this table gets hate speech directed at them every day. No one is.
All right, I guess no one gets to
simply
finish a sentence here anymore. Okay.
No, I think the point Alyssa's making here is she is a free
Well, don't
speech.
speak for her. She speaks very well for herself.
No, but and I'm not doing
We
that.
all
but-
act like we're for free speech when it's the things we like. When somebody wants to defend the free speech of people we dislike.
She didn't just clap back, she obliterated her. Alyssa Farah Griffin didn't raise her voice, didn't throw shade. She dissected Joy Behar in real time on national television, like a surgeon with a scalpel. And for once, the loudest mouth on The View had nothing to say back. It was the takedown no one expected, but absolutely everyone needed. Because for months, Joy Behar has been dancing on the edge of a dangerous narrative, spinning cover for the Biden White House, mocking legitimate concerns, and treating serious questions like punchlines. But then came one segment, one moment, where she finally said too much, and Alyssa pounced. It started like any other episode, round table laughs, partisan smirks. But then Joy opened her mouth and dropped it. She accused President Biden's own staff of hiding something about his mental condition. She said it lightly, too lightly, but the words hit the table like a brick. That's when Alyssa struck. No smirk, no pretense, just a sharp, calm, surgical interjection.
I don't think it's just the age, it's the historic unpopularity. He's on par with Jimmy Carter, who was a one-term president.
And yet he's revered now. He's the GOAT. So he's the GOAT before he leaves.
But if I may just press on this, because we had Rachel Maddow on the show, who I think we all respect regardless of our political stripes, and she said Donald Trump could absolutely be reelected.
Yes.
Joy, stop. That's not fair. That's irresponsible. Boom. Instant silence. The energy in the room changed. For a split second, the studio dynamic flipped. The smug veteran host was no longer in control. The apprentice just schooled the master. And you could see it on Joy's face. The flicker of shock, the blinking confusion. And then, that rare moment, total silence. The absence of her usual smug comeback. Because this wasn't just a disagreement. This was a line being drawn, live in front of millions. And everyone watching knew Joy had finally pushed too far. But what most viewers missed, Joy's comment wasn't just a slip, it was a trial balloon. A subtle, almost sneaky signal to the media elite that the Biden protection bubble might be collapsing.
But I do think that there's a cultural and societal desire to be able to talk about things openly. And actually, liberals used to be the ones who were super pro-free speech. The famous saying goes, I disagree with what you're saying, but I'll defend to the death your right to say.
Yes,
so
but I will not
if I may
defend to
finish-
the death your right to call me.
Here.
Sometimes it happens like this. Be nice.
Think about it. Why would Joy Behar, of all people, suddenly start hinting that Biden's staff is hiding his decline, unless she was cleared to say it? Or worse, trying to shift blame before the collapse. And that's exactly why Alyssa shut it down. Not to protect the president, to stop Joy from pulling the pin out of a political grenade that's been ticking for months. Because if that narrative is allowed to go mainstream, unchallenged, then it's game over. The optics collapse, polls shift. Voters start to ask the one question Democrats fear the most. Is Biden even running the show? And Biden's fragile 2024 campaign? It gets eaten from the inside. Alyssa knew that. And she didn't just push back. She tore Joy apart piece by piece. You worked in comedy, Joy. I worked in the White House. There's a difference between a joke and an accusation. Oof. Translation: sit down. You're out of your depth. And the other hosts, visibly uncomfortable. Sunny Hostin, stone-faced. Sarah Haynes, awkwardly sipping. Whoopi Goldberg, silent like she'd just witnessed an on-air decapitation. But Joy, being Joy, tried to move on, tried to shrug it off and steer the show toward the next segment. That's when Alyssa did the unthinkable. She cut her off again. She wasn't finished, pointed a finger, held the floor. You could see Joy's face twitch. A smirk formed, but it wasn't confidence, it was deflection. And then Alyssa hit her with this. By the way, I also want to say, I got threats from the right and the left. I had people on the right saying I was being disloyal because I criticized Trump, and people on the left attacking me for ever working there. That's the job you sign up for when you work in the highest office in the land. And that shut it down. That wasn't just a flex. That was Alyssa reclaiming her credibility and owning the room. Leave, calm, in control. Let's not forget, Joy's been mocking Alyssa for months. Her politics, her outfits, her age. But this time, Joy didn't just get interrupted, she got exposed. Because the hypocrisy runs deep. Joy has routinely mocked conservatives for questioning Biden's cognitive health. She's thrown around conspiracy theorists like it's punctuation. She's even called some guests racists for daring to bring it up. And now suddenly, she's the one planting seeds? That's not bravery, that's cowardice dressed as commentary. And Alyssa wasn't about to let that slide, but it gets worse. Later in the same episode, Joy tried to distract the audience by mocking Trump, blaming him for confusing who appointed Jerome Powell as Federal Reserve Chair. Classic misdirection. Ana Navarro even chimed in with an idea that made everyone stop cold. There could be, and there should be, bipartisan legislation requiring cognitive testing for presidents. Wait, what? Suddenly, everyone on the table was talking about mental decline. But not just Trump's. The subtext was painfully clear. If you open the cognitive health can of worms for one, you open it for all. And no one looked more uncomfortable than Joy, especially after a headline dropped that Biden aide Anthony Bernal, the president's closest advisor, pleaded the fifth when asked about Biden's cognitive state. Read that again. Pleaded the fifth. That's not nothing. That's huge. Which brings us back to Alyssa's takedown. Because this wasn't about defending Biden, it was about calling out the two-faced elite media narrative that Joy Behar has built her career on. And the internet exploded. Alyssa dragged Joy into the shadow realm. Griffin just did what no one on The View has dared to do. Fact-check Behar in real time. Joy realized she messed with the wrong one. Even Alyssa's usual critics, left-leaning influencers who call her a moderate puppet, admitted it. This was a power move, because for the first time, someone reminded Joy that this isn't her personal echo chamber, that facts still matter, that performative arrogance doesn't shield you from accountability anymore. Let's get even deeper. Joy Behar has ruled The View for decades. She interrupts, steamrolls, belittles. She thrives in chaos because no one ever dares to challenge her. Until now, Alyssa didn't raise her voice. She didn't play dirty, she came armed with composure and calmly dismantled a media queen. Live. That's how you kill a bully on live TV. And viewers felt it, not as a political debate, but as a moment of reckoning. A power shift that can't be reversed. Joy's been quieter since. Fewer jabs, shorter smirks, like someone pulled her aside and whispered, "Watch yourself. You're not untouchable anymore." And she's not, because when she tried to smear Biden's staff with vague accusations, it wasn't honesty, it was desperation. A last-ditch effort to save face before the ship sinks. But Alyssa, she was ready. She didn't just challenge the narrative, she burned it down. She didn't just stop Joy Behar, she shut down the whole act. And if Joy tries to come back swinging next week, you better believe Alyssa Farah Griffin will be waiting. With facts, with poise, and with that same icy confidence that broke daytime royalty in front of millions. This wasn't just a moment, it was the beginning of a new order. And Joy Behar, she won't forget it anytime soon. So now the question isn't whether Joy Behar can recover, it's whether anyone at that table dares to challenge Alyssa again. Because once someone learns how to take down a giant, the whole kingdom shakes. And if this was just round one, you won't want to miss what happens next. Subscribe for more brutal takedowns, behind-the-scenes secrets, and the power plays they don't want you to see, because the real drama is just getting started.